mysteries resolved. And bye-bye. Manacle's done for the night.
Alright, ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know when she was talking about, when you said that, she gets down in the winter? So, that is what they call SAD, seasonal affective disorder. I don't know if that's what she has, but that's what it's called. And during this time, during the fall and winter solstice, which is when the sun starts to descend, doing its normal cycle, pretty much everything starts to die, as you can see. That's just part of it, and then, everything becomes reborn and, goes back to life and does that whole cycle.
So it's interesting that she, that's what she
That's what happens.
It's really great.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
And the thing about the winter solstice and fall equinox is pretty much, you have, a whole bunch of different stories about it, like the story, not Venus. There's all, if you can call them ancient myths or whatever if you want, they're not really myths. It's just, stories about the cycle and everything. But, pretty much, once the sun starts going down, then our mood starts going down. And the whole point about that is what it symbolizes between the light and the dark. And, say the dark, it exposes your ego. So it's pretty much, unless you can heal with the sun. So it's when the sun is at its highest, it's considered, the point of enlightenment. It's, because everybody feels good, everyone's happy. And then when it goes down, it means, it brings out your dark side. So, it's, your human side and your ego, or, your spiritual side and your ego,
Interesting.
Your other side.
Yeah. I see. I definitely get it.
Yeah, so it brings it out of you. And that's the whole point of this time right now. What we're going into is right before, with the winter solstice, so December 21st, there's 3 days of darkness. They say the sun dies for 3 days. So pretty much what happens from fall equinox until now, it gets lower and lower and lower until it gets to the winter solstice. And it dies for 3 days, and it comes back to life on the 25th. So it's the birth of the sun on the 25th. But so pretty much this whole time, what's happening as the sun goes lower, starts to descend, our moods and our emotions start to descend. So it's a way of cleansing us. So that's why when people are more angry around this time, they're more depressed, more irritable, and then you have all these fake holidays, and pretty much the whole point of this time is to be miserable, and it's to expose your misery, because you're gonna be right now you're more prone to experience these kind of feelings,
Mm-hmm.
And then you have all these other things around you, those trees.
So are the holidays, is it bad that we're trying to be happy during it?
No, it's the way it goes together. It's because it's you have this whole, once the holidays are gone, everybody stops caring about each other. So let's be miserable 364 days of the year and then pretend to like each other on that one day, kind of thing. That's all I do is I hate the holidays. I hate seeing my family members. It's well, that's the only time you can see each other, of course, because that's the way society's set up. Anyways, that's another story.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I got it.
Yeah, but pretty much, the whole point of that time is really, it's time to really feel. It's time to heal. And then when the sun comes back, that's a huge time to rejoice, because the higher the sun gets up, your moods go up with it. So then it's
So it's when it's winter, and everyone, you don't have the sun and the vitamin D or whatever, and you more it's a part of you is dying, kind of you're reflecting upon what has been going on, what you want things to be, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
all
it's
your
not
worries, all that.
Yeah, so you're trying to figure it out and reflect upon it, and it's kind of a difficult process, obviously. And then when that ends, when that period ends, and it starts to get sunny and warm, spring comes, it's your rebirth. So it's you reflect upon it, and then it dies, right? So now it dies, and you reflect upon it as it's dying, and then it's time to start over.
Yeah, it's the cycle of the sun.
That's really cool. That actually makes a lot of sense, because I've definitely found that in the spring, that's when I'm so I'll do rash things that aren't necessarily in the past, I guess, when I wasn't as aware of it. I would do things that were more kind of mean, I guess, but more with the intention of moving forward, and it would take bigger risks at the expense of kind of others and myself.
That's the spring equinox. It's the balance of the halves. So that's the whole point. The solstices are the extreme amount of light, or there's there's complete darkness. And then the equinoxes is, if you're doing spring equinox, we're coming out of the darkness and going more into light. So you're having those kind of thoughts. But then fall equinox is you're coming out of the light and going to the darkness. So you might want to be more prone to give up more as opposed to that.
That's funny. I've always kind of loved the fall though.
Because
it's even though it's kind of the beginning of the down period. That's really funny because I think I like the kind of reflecting, like, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I like all of it, honestly, but that's really cool.
yeah.
That's funny because I've noticed that pattern. I just didn't, like, think of it as being related to the sun and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that is the prime example of someone missing the sun that bad. And see, the thing is, it shows in our emotions, and it gives us the personalities. That's where the whole constellations, all that stuff, horoscopes, that's where all that stuff comes from. Anyway, whatever, something like that. I can't even go into that because I really don't know. But
Okay.
in terms of the sun part aspect of it, is like it shows your strengths, it shows your weaknesses.
When the sun is gone?
Yes, and like how well you handle it. But no, it's not even that. Like, say, you know, have you heard of as above, so below?
Heard what?
Have you ever heard of as above, so below? Like, what goes on up there is the same thing that goes on here. Is a reflection of what goes on
as
here.
above is below? Is that what you said?
As above, so below.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I haven't.
Pretty much whatever's reflecting up on the stars is what's going on down here. That's what the whole astrology stuff is about.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, I was gonna say. I was gonna say. I don't know.
You said you were going to tell an awesome story. Was that it? Just talking about, like,
Oh
that?
yeah. Just explaining like how that just is a prime example of the dependency on the sun.
That is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
It's really interesting because I totally have found that pattern out, and my boyfriend even pointed it out to me. He was like, "Have you noticed you're like this in the spring?" I'm like, "Yep." That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. And that is how you follow the path of the sun.
Do you think people who are a little more like emotional, I guess, follow it more
That's
than
what
people who
bipolar.
are more logical? So isn't it like? Oh, I get them confused. Is right brain is like logical and left brain is emotional and creative? Or do I have it mixed up?
I think it's the other way around, but I'm honestly not sure. Right brain. Yeah, right brain creative. Left brain. Yeah,
Right
left brain logic.
creative, left brain logic.
Yeah. I think. I
I
don't know.
don't know. But yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's what is
Interesting.
that represents the hemispheres. Like the hemisphere, the equator and stuff. Like how right now, how we're about to go into the winter solstice, they're about to go into the summer solstice.
Oh my gosh, that's so brilliant. So it's like, oh, I'm trying to figure this out. So winter would be more like the, since we don't know which is which, but it would be more
emotional.
like the emotional side, like the creative side.
And the moon was the
God,
night.
and summer is more logical. That explains so many things.
Yeah.
That's actually extremely.
Hold on, I gotta explain this part to
In
you.
November, that's when I'm like super into like my stories and stuff, and that's what. Oh,
It's
that
the
is,
feminine.
okay, that is so cool.
Yeah, and that's why the feminine represents the moon and the masculine represents the cycle, because even with logic, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. That's what the sun does, up, down, up, down. But with the moon, yeah, she goes all the cycles, like the feminine. So then that's what represents the emotions. And then, yeah.
I have heard father, son, and no, grandmother moon, mother earth.
Yeah, that too. But,
That makes sense. So it's like feminine.
but, and it's creative, it's flowing, so that's like the right side, or left or right, whatever. That, it represents that side.
That's
And then
so.
logic represents that side.
I loved your like analogy of like the equator though,
Yeah.
compared, because that's so like that makes complete sense. Literally, like your brain, it's like your emotions, it's like everything.
Yeah.
That's
Duality.
so cool. Because one is gonna. It's like yin and yang and all of that.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh my gosh.
You know, yin and yang used to be the actual, like, I think solar sun or something like that. It used to be a sun, no, it used to be like a calendar or something like that that followed the path of the sun. Oh yeah, because that wave sign, it's not, I mean, it turned into that, but that was the sine wave. I think it's sine wave. But anyways, that's the path that the sun follows. Like it actually looks like that in the sky. I mean, when you measure it after, thousands or whatever years. But that's what it looks like, is that thing.
Wow.
That's its actual path.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so then that represents that, and then you have the moon over here, and then you have Earth here, and then it's all a reflection of each other, just on a smaller or bigger scale.
That's so cool. That's why I like the fall so much.
That's the returness of the goddess energy.
It's awesome. It's really cool. I was gonna ask you something. Oh, about work. I don't remember what you said as